In this video, I'm going to show you the entire process of removing this old Worcester boiler and putting on a brand new Main Eco Compact. But just before I show you that, I thought you might find it interesting to know why we're installing a new boiler in the first place. So initially when I went to this job, it was a breakdown. The customer said that the boiler isn't working at all and they wanted me to fix it. So right now, I'm trying to figure out why the boiler isn't firing up. Cut a long story short, I'm getting 230 volts going to the fan, but it's not spinning. The strange thing is every now and then the fan will try to spin, as you're about to see now, but then it stops there. So obviously the fan has seized up, so the boiler needs a new fan. That's the first issue. The second issue is when I was doing this out the corner of my eye, I noticed that the top of the heat exchanger is leaking. The customer also said that the pressure keeps going down, so that's another thing that needed to be fixed. Now, after speaking to the customer, they said that they'd rather go for a new boiler instead of spending money on an old boiler. So that is why we're doing the install. 9 out of 10 times when it comes to swapping over a boiler, the first thing I'll tackle is the flue, because that's usually the hardest part when it comes to decommissioning. The pipes usually just get cut with a pipe slice, and if it is awkward, then you can just use a multi tool like I do in this job as well. But I feel like with the flue, sometimes it's just so cemented in that it just takes ages, or even worse, someone has used expanding foam, which when I see that, I just want to cry. Luckily, this one wasn't too bad, so smash it inside. The inside was a little bit trickier to get to, as you can see. I've had to undo the top of the cupboard to be able to get my hand in, and you can see they've used silicone or cork. I'm not too sure what it is, but it's still better than expanding foam. I know that. Another thing that made this flue challenging was the access to the screws. So this side, easy, got my impact, screws come out in a second. But the other side is a different story. You can see that we've got the top of the cupboard, so it's going to be hard to put a normal screwdriver, and then it's right against the wall. So this is where this little screwdriver really saved the day. So I was able to get in a bit fiddly, but it got the job done. And after pulling out all of that silicone or cork, wherever it was, the flue should finally be able to come out. But you see what I mean about the flue, sometimes it can be a whole mission of getting it out. So that's why I always start with it first, just to get it out of the way. The boiler has been draining down while I was doing the flue, so now it should be done. I'm going to connect my pump to the expansion vessel, push out any excess water inside the boiler, and then the boiler should be ready to come off the wall. Now, one thing I do like about decommissioning these Worcester boilers is the boiler comes apart in 2 parts. However, one thing I don't like about decommissioning these Worcester boilers is the boiler comes apart in 2 parts. Now, what I mean by that is it's nice because it's a lot lighter to carry. So let's suppose you have to carry it throughout the house or down the stairs, it's a lot easier. But because it comes apart in a few parts, it just makes it a little bit longer. And I don't know if it's just me, but anytime I'm doing an install, I'm always timing myself. I'm always trying to see how fast I can get it done. So anything that adds a little bit of extra time, it's like, this is annoying. I'm not going to hit my PB today. But this one wasn't too bad overall. One thing I liked about this job is the cold, gas and hot lined up pretty much perfect. Flow and return, we're going to have to drop down, and the flue you can see goes across to the left there. So I've stabbed through the paper to mark on the wall where I'm going to drill. I've then screwed the bracket on, made it all level, marked where I need to put the other holes. I'm going to fling that to the side, drill out my other holes, get the screws in, put this little bracket on because we're dropping the flow and return behind the boiler, and then make sure it's all level. Because it's such a tight space, I'm going to put the mini magnet on first. So I've put it up against the pipe. I'm going to mark where I need to cut, then I'm going to cut it out. Right, here's a side note. I'm going to start a petition to make it illegal to paint copper pipes any color, because trying to get the paint off is just always long. Fair enough, for this job it wasn't too bad because I had my drill and that attachment, but you can't always use that depending on access. And I'll give you a little story as an example while I'm hanging the boiler. The other day I was installing a boiler at a different job, and while I was there the customer asked me to change over 6 TRVs while the system was drained. I said no problem. Gone and looked at the radiators, and of course all of the pipes were painted. And I don't know what type of paint they used. I'm pretty sure it was mixed with super glue because I could not get the nuts off. I was using my biggest spanner and I was pulling so hard that the pipes were starting to bend. And what made it even more fun It was like that for all 6 TRVs, and then I had the joys of trying to scrape all the paint off so I could lower the nuts to cut off the olives. It was just fun. Anyway, that is my run over. Boilers on the wall, flue elbow is in, but you can see it doesn't line up the same, so I'm gonna have to smash out a bit of this concrete to get the flue to line up. Now flue extension goes into the flue elbow. That's all good, just needs a screw to hold it down. Now through the wall, and I know it lines up, I'm going to leave it and make a start on the pipe work. Because everything in the cupboard is tight, what I'm going to do is just bring 2 pipes straight up the back of the boiler. So one on the left is flowed, one on the right is return. Now all I need to do is put one elbow there and another elbow on the flow. Nice and easy. I've cut the return down to size. Now it's going to hook the elbow on and press it. And now I just have to do the same with the flow. So I've got a straight coupler, bringing it across. I'm going to put a level on it, make sure it's straight. Cut the pipe at the height I need and press it. And there you go. Flow and return is done. And at this point, you can see why I done the pipes before finishing the flue. Now flow and return is done. I'm going to prioritize the cold, hot, gas, and then we'll do the flue. But to start, I'm going to put this filling loop on. Doing the gas pipe on this boiler was really easy. So this valve comes with a tail. So all I had to do was measure the difference between the tail and the existing copper pipe and put a straight coupler. Very simple. For the hot pipe, I've done exactly the same thing. You can see the little pen mark there. So that is where the tail drops down to. So all I need to do is cut that and then it'll be one straight coupler. And just like that, that is all of the main pipes done. So again, with the PRV, tail, 2 elbows, nice and simple. When it comes to the condensate pipe, I was hoping I could put 2 elbows, so elbow right, elbow towards the boiler, but it's a bit too long. So what I'm going to do is elbow directly straight to the boiler, come down a little bit and then elbow. And that's it. All of the pipes are now done. Now I'm going to focus on finishing the flue. So I put the flue elbow and extension back in. I've got my laser so I can know where to put my clips to support the flue. Now that the extension is done and secured, I've measured how much I need to cut off of the flue because I want it to come past this little gas pipe here. So all I have to do is cut that down now. Listening to this sound does hurt my ears, but the correct screw bit was inside and I could not be bothered to go inside because I was already standing on a ledge. So we had to make do with what we had. At this point, chemical flush is done. I've just put the protection in. Really annoying. I had one small leak at the top of the magnet here. Luckily, this one wasn't too hard to sort. Just got my longer spanner, gave it a few turns, and it sorted itself out. And this is the boiler pretty much all done. Just have to tidy up, do my safety checks, and that's it. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.